I owe Zion Williamson an apology. Hey guys, my name is Emmanuel Kamia, and before I jump into this video, I just want to ask you guys to give me the HBO special. That is the Help a Brother Out, and you can do that by hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like underneath this video. I'm not one for long intros, so let's jump back into this video. I think we all owe Zion Williamson an apology, but I personally wanted to make a video to issue him one. Because about a year ago, I made a video calling Zion Williamson a bust, around the same time that everyone else was calling him a bust. As you all know, Zion Williamson came into the league around 4 years ago in 2019, in the same year as Ja Morant. And at the time that they were drafted, Zion Williamson was thought to be better than Ja Morant, who was taken after Zion Williamson as the second overall pick in a 2019 NBA draft by the Memphis Grizzlies. Fast forward 4 years and clearly Ja Morant has had the better career so far. This is what led me to think that Zion Williamson was a bust. A combination of contrasting and comparing Ja Morant's career in relation to Zion Williamson's career and Zion Williamson's history of injuries. For a few years, it seemed as if Zion Williamson was going to go the way of Greg Oden and Anthony Bennett, both of whom were former first overall pick who fit into obscurity because they failed to live up to their perceived potential. Greg Oden especially. I thought that the way Zion Williamson's career and Ja Morant's career would pan out would be Zion would be Greg Oden and Ja would be Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was famously taken as the second overall pick. But unlike those two, Greg Oden and Anthony Bennett, Zion's demise would come because of his inability to stay healthy and not a lack of talent. Zion Williamson's actually a very talented basketball player. Yes, the main thing that worked against Zion Williamson was also his greatest asset, and that was his hulking body that had served him for years in the past. In the past, generally, the way Zion Williamson was able to separate himself from the pack and really ascend to the top, whether it was high school or college, was because of his huge, hulking, abnormal body. Abnormal in a good way. Like I said, Zion Williamson is a good basketball player. I don't want to say that Zion is only good because he's a freak of nature and has no basketball skills. Zion can do all the things that constitute a good player. He can shoot well, he passes well, he has handles, he has good basketball IQ, he has all the hallmarks of a good basketball player. But what I want to highlight is the thing that separated him from all of his peers was his body. It was a huge gift to him. The way he generally played in the past was he would be able to boulderize, push, and bully other players on the floor in order to dominate them. That was Zion Williamson's best asset, his body, and what it allowed him to do on a court. Nearly 99% of all players that Zion has ever played against, whether that is high school or college or NBA, he's been bigger than. But his body being as big as it is brings a lot of wear and tear and a lot of torque on his knees when he moves around. 270 pounds isn't easy to move around, and it's especially not easy to throw around like Zion does. And when you combine that with high flying, it becomes even more glaring to see why Zion was always injured, because that's the way Zion played. Zion played physical. He was a high-flying player. He got most of his points in the paint, dunking on people, getting people out of the way using his body, and playing above the rim. But because of his body though, Zion had a problem of never being able to stay healthy. He would consistently get injured due to him not being able to meet the optimal weight that has been prescribed to him by the New Orleans Pelicans or whatever medical staff that surrounds him. Zion's had a lengthy injury history. It all starts in 2019 when Zion still played for the Duke Blue Devils, and there was an anticipated game between Duke and the North Carolina Tar Heels. It was very, very anticipated. Everyone wanted to be there, and it was famous for even having Obama show up courtside and watching Zion Williamson. But unfortunately, the game was spoiled due to Zion Williamson busting through his shoes. Yes, we've never seen anything like it before. The sheer torque and sheer heaviness of Zion Williamson, he busted through his Kyrie Irving shoes and eventually injured his knee. Zion went on to miss 3 weeks worth of games due to that knee injury, and that knee injury turned out to be a knee sprain. But it all resulted because of him blowing out through his shoes. After that, we fast forward to summer 2019. At this point, Zion Williamson has been drafted and he's in the NBA and he's a rookie. And so he is poised to play in the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. But during his Summer League debut, he only played half a game of basketball before again he had to stop playing due to his injuries. He would go on to not play the rest of the Summer League. And after that, we fast forward again a few months to 2019 preseason. Zion tore his meniscus during the 2019 preseason, and because of that tear, his NBA regular season debut would have to wait. It was actually delayed 44 games, and during the 45th game of that season for the Pelicans, Zion made his debut, and during that debut, his first ever NBA game, he dropped 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. Then after that injury, we fast forward to August 2020. At the time, the NBA bubble was still ongoing and Zion missed the final game of the 2019-2020 NBA season. And at this time, he was still a rookie and he missed that game due to right knee soreness. Then after that, we fast forward again to April of 2021 and Zion missed a handful of games due to an injury that wasn't that serious. All it was a sprained thumb. It wasn't anything serious. He eventually made his return against the Atlanta Hawks that season. And then last year, Zion missed the entirety of the 2022 NBA season due to injuries. It was a combination of his knee and his meniscus not being fully healed. And because of that, we never got to see Zion play last year. And then finally, we have this season, the 2022-2023 NBA season. Zion, for the majority of the season, has remained healthy. He's played the majority of games. But on January 4th, 2023, Zion suffered a hamstring sprain and is set to miss 3 weeks. He should be returning here soon. It's been 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. If not, he should be back before February. But aside from that hamstring sprain, Zion has relatively stayed healthy this season. And last year, when Zion missed a whole year due to his injury, the problem of Zion staying healthy and the problem of Zion's weight came into question. And he was criticized a lot for it. People asked, when will Zion finally become healthy? And Zion heard all of the criticism. So he took it upon himself this summer to really work on himself. And that's exactly what he did. Last summer, Zion put his head down, worked his butt off, and slimmed down to his optimal weight while still being able to keep muscle mass. And because of that, he has managed to stay healthy all season long. And because he's been able to stay healthy consistently, he's been able to be so good this year that he's been selected to be an NBA All-Star starter. This will mark his second NBA All-Star appearance. The first was in 2020 during his rookie year. But also Zion's been phenomenal individually. He has been a huge asset to the New Orleans Pelicans. His team, the Pelicans, have had a 180 pivot in terms of success in contrast to last year. Last year, the Pelicans were a struggle team. They barely managed to make the play-in tournament and were bounced out by the Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. This year, they are the 4th seed in the Western Conference, and Zion is the reason why. This year, he's played most of the games that he's been eligible to play, staying healthy, and has been averaging 26 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 4.6 assists per game. You can see how that's beneficial to a team like the Pelicans, who now have an extra 26 points per game from a player they didn't have last year. And so because of that, I wanted to apologize to Zion Williamson and retract my initial assessment of him. He is not a bust. He's far from it. In fact, I think the trajectory that he's on right now, if he manages to stay healthy, he is poised to battle with the likes of Luka Doncic, Ja Morant, Jason Tatum as the future face of the NBA. When guys like LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, when they've retired, when Giannis is gone, Zion will be in contention for best player in the league. And this year is proving that. I hope Zion can continue to stay healthy for both his sake and his team's sake. But yes, guys, those are just my thoughts. If you like this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like under this video, and until next time, kids.